Next, it's my honor to bring up the Executive Vice President of 1199 New England and the leader of SEIU healthcare workers here in Rhode Island, Patrick Quinn.
All right. How y'all doing? Good. How are you? So happy to see everybody here. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the state reps and senators that have been here. Thank you, UFCW. Thank you, IBEW. Thank you, NEA. Other people from the labor community that have showed up. How many of my members here were at the office at our hall last May? Right, May Day, May 1st. We started all this, right? And what did we say? We said, we've been on strike. We've been at the State House. We got to do public forums, right? We said, we're going to bring this message over here about we are an outlier, and frankly, we should be ashamed of ourselves, Rhode Island, that we're the only state in New England that doesn't have a standard. This is public money. This is Medicaid and Medicare. These are tax dollars. These are people's lives we're talking about. Stop messing around. Look around you. And I'm talking to the white people in power. Who's taking care of your elderly grandmother? An immigrant. A black woman, a Latina. Who's doing that? All right, we're calling bullshit. Enough of that. Enough. We had enough money to build a hospital that we ended up not needing, thank God. 2 hospitals not needed. Did those workers get paid a living wage to build that? Hell yeah, they did. Right? So let's call it out for what it is. Yes. Adon and other people brought it forward back in February. We're spending public money to produce poverty wages and poor conditions for seniors in our nursing homes. End it. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. It's so wrong you can't even imagine how much money these bosses are making. Somebody alluded to it earlier. They're getting paid money for empty beds. Are you crazy? What? And there's no money to improve the staffing, but we can take care of a patient that isn't there. All right? So we might have got sick. We might have seen a lot of residents get sick. We might have seen a lot of patients die. We've been under a lot of pressure. But we're not crazy, right? All right, so this has got to stop. There is enough money. It's a question of what our priority is going to be. And is it going to be to spend that money to lift people out of poverty? Is it going to be to lift people up or beat them down? I say we lift them up. We lift up our residents. We lift up our caregivers. And we stop what is essentially systematic racism because we say it's okay to pay women of color less money. That's bullshit. It's got to stop. We don't always use that frame in the labor movement, but we better get used to it because the inequality is persistent. Right? And this is not some minor issue. This is the issue. There's other issues coming forward that are important. Black Lives Matter. All those issues are extremely important, and the union supports that. But this is a pandemic, as Adon has said. What is the central issue of the pandemic? Save people's lives and protect the most valuable resource that we have, which is our caregivers. We're not making them, we can make more masks, but we can't make more CNAs in the short run, more RNs, more LPNs, more MedTech, more housekeeping, more dietary. We got to call this out for what it is, and we got to fix it. And by the way, if the boss gets in the way, we have our own deadline, and we will establish that deadline with all the 800 plus workers, and we will do what we don't want to do, which is we will strike, because we are not going to be ignored any longer. There's enough time to fix it. We know what the fix is. Now people got to execute, right? Everybody stayed home. Who went to work? You all, right? Everybody else stay home. Oh no, you got to go to work. And what happened? Overwhelming majority of people did go to work, and they did their job, even though they're not paid a fair wage. That has got to stop. So I want to thank every one of you for being here. I want to thank our allies. I want to thank our leaders in the General Assembly. They've been awesome. And I think we got to just not take no for an answer over the next couple of weeks. And we, as was alluded to, I think by Dennis Hazard, they named Hazard Pay after him. They know that SEIU and us in 1199, we don't just walk the talk, we walk the walk. A lot of people up here know how to find me when the election time is coming. They always know how to find me. Sometimes I can't get a hold of them, present company excluded. But some people always know how to find me, strangely enough, in even-numbered years in September through November. And by the way, if this doesn't happen, there's going to be a lot of unreturned phone calls. Because we are not taking no for an answer on this. It's simple, it's direct, let's do it. Thank you.